How safe is the Boeing 787 Dreamliner? Boeing 787 Dreamliner was deemed the safest of the plane. The whistleblowers were always less sure. The Air India tragedy, in which at least 270 people died, involved one of the Boeing's most innovative and popular plane. Until now, it was considered one of the safest too. We still do not know why Flight 171 crashed just 30 seconds after takeoff. Investigators have now recovered flight recorded data and are working hard to find out. But the incident has drawn attention to the aircraft involved, the 787 Dreamliner, the first of the modern generation of radical fuel-efficient plane. Prior to the accident, the 787 had operated for nearly a decade and a half without any major accidents and without a single fatality. During that period, according to the Boeing, it carried more than 1 billion passengers. There are currently more than 1,100 in service worldwide. However, it has also suffered from a series of quality control problems. Whistleblowers who worked on the aircraft have raised numerous concerns about production standards. Some have claimed that potentially dangerous flawed aircraft have been allowed into services. Allegations has company consistently denied. Airbus Super Jumbo vs Boeing fuel efficiency. At the time, Boeing's great rival, the European giant Airbus, was taking precisely the opposite approach. It was developing a A380 Super Jumbo, a machine tailor-made for carrying as many passengers as possible on busy routes between the world's biggest and busiest airports. In hindsight, Boeing's approach was wiser. The fuel-thirsty A380 went out of production in 2021, after only 251 have been built. Airbus thought the future was giant hubs, where people would always want to change plane in Frankfurt or Heathrow or Narita. Explained aviation analyst Richard, who is the managing director at Aerodynamic Advisory. A 787 was a truly radical aircraft. It was the first commercial plane to be built primarily of composite such as carbon fiber rather than aluminum in order to reduce weight. It had advanced aerodynamics to reduce drag. It also used a highly efficient modern engine from GE and Rolls-Royce, and it replaced many mechanical and pneumatic systems with lighter electrical ones. One of these, Boeing said, would make it 20% more efficient than its predecessors, the Boeing 767. It was also significantly quieter with a noise-proof footprints. The area on the ground affected by significant noise from the aircraft, that as manufacturers said, was up to 60% smaller. Emergency landing and onboard fires. Not long after the aircraft entered services, however, there were serious problems. In January 2013, lithium-ion battery caught fire aboard a 787 as it waited at the gate of Boston Logan Airport. A week later, overheating battery forced another 787 to make an emergency landing during an international flight in Japan. The design was grounded worldwide for several months, while Boeing came up with a solution. Since then, day-to-day operations have been smoother, but production was deeply problematic. Analytics say this may in part has been due to Boeing's decision to set up new assembly line for 787 in North Carolina. This was done to take advantages of region's low rates of union membership as well as generous support from the state. Damaging whistleblower allegations. In 2019, Boeing discovered the first of a series of manufacturing defects that affected the way in which different parts of aircraft fitted together. As more problems were found, the company widened its investigations and uncovered further issues. Deliveries were heavily disrupted and halted altogether between May 2021 and July 2022, before being paused again the following year. However, potentially the most damaging allegation about the 787 program have come from the company's own current and former employees. Among the most prominent was the late John Burnett, a former quality manager at 787 factory in South Carolina. He claimed that pressure to produce planes as quickly as possible had seriously undermined safety. In 2019, he told the BBC that workers at the plane had failed to follow strict procedure intended to track components through the factory, potentially allowing defective parts to go missing. In some cases, he said, workers have evenly deliberately fitting substandard parts from scrap bin to aircraft in order to avoid delays on the production line. Defective fixings were used to secure aircraft decks. Screwing them into plane produced razor-shaped slivers of metals, which in some cases accumulated beneath the deck in areas containing large amount of aircraft wiring. He claims had previously been passed to the US regulator, the Federal Aviation Administration, which partially upheld them. After investigating, it concluded that at least 53 non-conforming parts had gone missing in the factory. An audit by FAA also confirmed that metal shavings were present beneath the floor of number of aircraft. The quality engineer said that while working on 787 in late 2020, he had seen the company introduce shortcuts in assembly processes in order to speed up the production and delivery of aircraft. These he had serious problem would have shown up. There is no question that Boeing has come under huge pressure in recent years over its corporate culture and production standard. In the wake of two fatal accidents involving its best-selling 737 MAX and the further serious incidents last year, it has been repeatedly accused of putting the pursuit of profit over the passenger safety. It's a perception that Chief Executive Kelly Horbers, who joined the company last year, have been working hard to overhauling its internal processes and working with regulators on the comprehensive safety and quality control plan. But has 787 already been compromised by past failures that may have created ongoing safety risk?